Thank you for joining me at Osun News. I'm Dan Galley, and behind me is the beautiful skyline of Taipei. It's a particularly important time for the Taiwanese capital, as the 2024 general election will be held on January 13th. And with the USA and the People's Republic of China increasingly at odds, more eyes will be on this election than ever to see which way the small but mighty island of Taiwan votes. This election is looking like it will be especially exciting, as it will be a no incumbent race due to the fact that the current president, Tsai Ing-wen of the Democratic Progressive Party, is not eligible for re-election. Instead, Vice President Lai Ching-te will be running with Sao Bi-kim as a running mate for the DPP. The main opposition, Kuomintang, or KMT, has nominated the mayor of New Taipei, Ho Yu-ih. There is also the minority Taiwan People's Party with a charismatically quirky candidate named Ko Wen-jae, who is most adept at engaging the young people. Now you can see in these various polls that the DPP has generally come out ahead, if not always. But the KMT has not been far behind, and at times even the TPP has polled competitively. If the KMT and TPP were to join forces, it is likely they could oust the DPP from power. In fact, this exact proposition was made, but the plan fell apart when both sides failed to reach a consensus on a 6-point agreement in determining the presidential and vice presidential candidates. Ho Yu-ih insisted negotiations should return to the 6-point agreement inked by both sides previously. Ko Wen-jae stresses that he personally abided by the 6-point agreement all along, but that the two sides disagreed on a method for tallying public opinion polls. So in what appears to be a spat of bickering, the coalition fell apart. But why does any of this matter? As time has gone on, young people have increasingly identified as Taiwanese rather than Chinese, and thereby independent from China. Historically, the DPP has taken a strong stance against cooperation with the CCCP. The KMT, on the other hand, has been for economic integration with mainland China. For the KMT's part, they see conflict with China as inevitable, and the only way to resolve it by economic and integrative appeasement. They have thus tried to cast the decision between DPP and KMT as a choice between war and peace. We will see in the end result whether the Taiwanese people will buy this message. So far, the polls show skepticism, either that or loyalty to the status quo. The People's Republic of China does appear to have a horse in this race. China enjoys economic prosperity through economic colonialism toward many of its neighbors, and indeed countries all around the world. It's no secret that Xi Jinping would like to annex Taiwan for the Communist Party, and he has often called, quote unquote, reunification unavoidable outcome eventually. But perhaps he would settle for the sort of economic influence a KMT regime might give him. To this end, China has taken to sending forth its 50-cent army, so named because it is joked that each internet troll loyal to the CCCP receives 50 cents per troll post or comment they make to subvert international opinions or influence elections. If this seems far-fetched, consider the cult-like extent of loyalty common in authoritarian regimes such as North Korea or in past regimes such as Nazi Germany. And there is evidence. Back in August, Facebook deleted thousands of accounts they deemed to be operated by Chinese government trolls in an operation called Spamouflage. And it wasn't just Facebook. The Chinese Communist Party had targeted more than 50 apps: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Reddit, among others, according to a post by Facebook executives made online. And we'll cut now to a special report from Spotlight on China.
A few days ago, the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, held a meeting to discuss interference in the presidential election results in Taiwan. Wang Huning, a member of the CCP Politburo Standing Committee, chaired this meeting. Reuters cited multiple Taiwan security officials as saying that Wang Huning is also deputy head of Beijing's Central Leading Group for Taiwan Affairs, chaired by President Xi Jinping. Taiwanese intelligence operatives got the content of this meeting. They said that officials from China's publicity department, the State Security Ministry, the Defense Ministry, and the Taiwan Affairs Office were all attending the conference. According to Reuters, an internal Taiwanese memo said the meeting focused on ensuring the effectiveness and coordination of various work on the Taiwan elections. The meeting concluded that various agencies should strengthen their duties towards Taiwan. The Publicity Department and a psychological warfare unit under the People's Liberation Army called Base 311 were asked to launch influence campaigns targeting Taiwanese people through news outlets and social media. China's Taiwan Affairs Office and the United Front Work Department are tasked with approaching and influencing Taiwanese politicians and creating favorable conditions for Taiwanese living in China to return home to vote in the election at the beginning of next year. The meeting's conclusion also agreed to continue increasing pressure on the people of Taiwan by forcing them to choose between war and peace. If Taiwanese people choose the Democratic Progressive Party or DPP candidate, they will face the risk of invasion. But if they decide on the Kuomintang or KMT candidate, they will live in peace. CNN reported that Wang said during the meeting that officials should be made to ensure that external parties would not be able to find direct evidence of election interference in Taiwan.
So which way will Taiwan vote next month? Will they be able to continue threading the needle of diplomacy between two behemoths flexing their muscles and baring their teeth? It seems now more than ever that we must ensure voters have access to unadulterated news and protected from CCCP propaganda. We'll be watching next month. From Osun News, I'm Dan Galley. Thank you and good night.